Well, we're taking apart the Zeze so that we can build her correctly. And let's go.
We're here in Zeze's van on vanlife, and we took out a counter that was in place here that, well, it had to be replaced. So we're going to put a new counter in today, and we're going to hopefully secure some things to the wall. Problem is, we've got a plastic inner wall, and then probably some thin insulation to the steel or the sheet metal wall on the outside of the van. Mm-hmm. So we really don't have anything to drill into here to secure to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on what we're going to call a cleat. It's just a piece of 2x3 stock, but I'm going to cut it 7 feet long, which will bring me to right about here. Stay away from the back part. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to bolt it with carriage bolts from the outside in. So once we have those cleats in place, mm-hmm. then we can put on plywood. Once we have the plywood in place, we can do anything, because now you can screw into, bolt into, attach to the plywood, where right now you can't do that here. Okay. So we're going to start with just by cutting the 2x3 cleats. I'll bolt those in place, and then we'll take a look at that afterwards. But the important thing here is that there is no plan. Z and I are making this up as we go. We're measuring things, and you know, we're going to make some mistakes, but we're going to do this van life style. We're going to try and do it as inexpensively as possible, and we're going to make it look nice at the same time. Be a little creative. Okay? See you in a bit. That's dead center, 3'6". So this is called the drill index. It's a nice one. It's got all kinds of different size bits in it, as you can see.
It's like a whole set.
And so here's the carriage bolt I want to use to attach that cleat to the side of your van. So we go like this. That looks like a good fit. That is 11/32 of an inch. The reason I wanted to show you the drill index is this obviously has every bit you need, really, you know, for the most part. But you can get a drill index with like 4 or 6 bits in it, and that doesn't take up any space. They're real cheap. They're very inexpensive, and you know, an 1/8, a 1/4, a 3/8, and a 1/2 inch bit, you're pretty well set. You know, if you have a small electric drill, you just need a couple of bits. You don't need something like this. But I just wanted to show it to you. Carriage bolt, because it has this round head that's going to be the only thing showing on the outside. So I'm going to get a little bit of silicone, put it around there just to make it watertight, pop it in with a hammer, and we'll be ready to put the cleat on the inside.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Going around the head to little dabble do ya, keep the water out, and that will seat up nice and tight. We can clean that up a little bit later.
Okay.
When we tighten the nut on the inside, it'll pull that nice and tight up and squeeze that silicone right against the side of the truck. One of the things that we had to do, very important, we measured everything to make sure that we weren't going to drill into anything important inside the wall. The latches are here, the glass stops here. There was really nothing in it. There was sheet metal on the inside, plastic, sheet metal, then a gap, then the outside of the van.
Okay.
So you have to be very careful that you're not drilling into anything important, that the windows will still function, and there's no wiring in there.
Okay.
So we know that the wall of the van itself isn't flat. This 2x3 is going to be flat. Or actually, it is a cleat, as I said. Till we're done with our other bolt, at least one more, maybe 2. We'll find out. Like I said, this is a work in progress. Like I said, there's no plan here. Z and I are making this up as we go. I'm thinking about you van life folks out there. This isn't called it's a level, but it's called a bullet level. So they're tiny, very inexpensive. That wouldn't take up any space. You know, it's not the big long contractor's level. that you normally see. So these are cheap, 3 different variations of level, and easy. But what we found is when I make this level, it doesn't line up with the van. And so even though normally you'd think, well, you know, you want this to be as level as possible, we also want it to line up with the van. So it's going to be slightly off level, but it's going to line up with the van. Okay. Here's the second carriage bolt. But we're cooking with gas now. And you see I'm just taking it up snug, tight against the inside of the van, squishing that silicone. And we might as well make it snug right to the wall. Like I say, the wall's not flat. That's okay. Everything can be done with small, very inexpensive hand tools, as you'll see as we start to put things together here. So one of the things I wanted to mention was we're going to use this sheet of plywood. It's 4x8. It's thick. It's 3/4 of an inch thick, so there'd be plenty of meat for us to get screws or bolts or whatever Z might want to attach in the future. But a 4x8 sheet of plywood is hard to handle. It's hard to maneuver, difficult and awkward. So most good home supply stores like Lowe's, they have these large format panel saws. So the policy, usually they'll give you 2 cuts for free. But you know, the guys are usually pretty good. You know, maybe tip them a couple of bucks and they'll give you a few extra cuts. If you know what you're going to be doing, you can buy the plywood and have them cut it so they can rip it, cross cut it. You could end up with 4 panels that are 4 foot by 2 foot. Much easier to maneuver around. You can put them in a shopping cart, and for van life, they don't take up much space. So now we're going to measure the inside, and Z and I are going to come up with the exact height that we want this backboard to be. And then we'll mount a new counter to it. We know we're going to, this is 8 feet. We know we're going to end up with less than that, probably closer to 7, but we'll figure that out right now. Okay, so clamp. It's a little more than half. It's 25 inches. Here's the blade all the way exposed. All right, so that's, on this saw, that's as deep as it will cut. We're only cutting 3/4 of an inch. So I don't need that much blade down. And the less blade, the less resistance there is, the less blade surface. So your batteries will last a lot longer.
What's that called?
This is a skill saw. This is a handheld skill saw, battery operated. Thank you.
Clothes you use all the time.
She's got sleepies.
I don't know.
It'll be down there. And it just uses a lot more power to get through that, and it ruins your battery life. Battery life is important. Okay, now this might be getting a little carried away, but when everything's got a hard edge on it, like here and this corner here, you want to take that off, to soften it. You know, it's called taking the curse off. Now in a workshop, what you do is you want to draw your radius. You find a point equal distance in, you set your compass, and you draw your radius to cut. But for van life, you know, you might not have a workshop with all this type of stuff. I just want to take the cursor off the edge of this, because this is the part that's going to be above the counter. It's going to be visible. So it will be about like that. And anything will do, a soup can, a bottle cap. I drew that little radius. So for van life people, this is called a coping saw, like coping with life. Actually, I lost the handle to it. So they're inexpensive. They're like 12 bucks. I was going to buy another one, but I know as soon as I do that, next month I'll find the handle to this one. So if you don't have power, the blade, if you notice, is so narrow, it can curve. So we can use it to cut that radius by hand. It takes a little effort. You can see it's going right through it. And in no time, I'm about halfway there. Now, that's how you do it when you're in a van with no power. I happen to have power here, so I'm going to use my jigsaw. But I wanted to show you that. And like I say, these saws are very inexpensive. They don't take up much space. Obviously, you can even take the handle off on it and stick it in a drawer. And someday I'll find this handle. We took the curse off the radius here. We want to take the curse off this edge too. It holds dirt and dust when it's real sharp like that. So you just want to, for the van life, you can just take a piece of sandpaper, go over it. It'll take that curse off in no time. I'm going to use a router. You can put all different types of bits in a router. So this is the table of the router. This has a curved bit. But again, I just want to take that curse off. Yep, I like the smell of fresh sawn wood, even if it's plywood. This, again, is going to be the backboard vertically mounted to the wall. The countertop is going to come out from it like this. So this top part is going to act as, if it was a sink, it would be called a backsplash. So we'll give you a 4-inch backsplash. Like I said, this is a work in progress. We make things up as we go. Z and I is about every 12 or 18 inches, I'll screw in an eye. And that means on the backboard behind her counter, Z will have plenty of places to hook in bungee cords, line, anything just to secure everything on that countertop so it's not moving around when she's driving.
Me and Zeze are taking a ride to the CVS near here, and when we come back,
it took a lot more work to get those cleats on.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We we didn't know what we were getting into. We didn't know what we were drilling through, but we got those 2 horizontal cleats bolted to the side of the van.
Mm-hmm.
Then we fastened this piece of plywood. We cut it and shaped it as you saw, smoothed it off, took the curses off the edges, and now we have something to work with. So I have these shelf brackets. Made the shelf yesterday. Mm-hmm. We'll put the 3 brackets on, put the shelf on. We'll be back in a minute.
we found a doggy bag. It's a diaper bag, but it's from Goodwill. And she fits perfect in it.
If you look at the receipt, I bet you it was only like $3. I think they charged you for a purse. Do you for to convert their vans?
Whoa. Okay, so this wasn't done 100% right because these screws, the heads of the screws are a little bit too big for these brackets, but that's why I had to go in at an angle. But so the whole idea, all that work of bolting the cleats in place, drilling through the side of the van, the whole 9 yards, was all to give us a wooden backboard that we can use. Now we can attach anything in the world really to that. And so we just put in the shelf brackets. Here's our shelf. Oh, let's see what this looks like. Something just like that.
I'm loving it.
And it's got the lip here, to hold things on the front. It has the backboard, which, as I said, we'll put, I think a screw eye about every 18 inches. So say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that way you'll be able to put bungees around anything that you have on that shelf. And I could even do that up here, now that I think of it. As Z and I said when we started this, we had no plan. We had no measurements, nothing square, nothing is level inside the van. It's just the way it is. No problem. But we lowered the backsplash a little bit so we could take a little bit of the black paint off the window and let a little bit more light in here. And but I can, now that I think of it, I could put another small cleat, not as big as the 2x3, probably something like almost similar to a piece of strapping, up top here. So that will allow her to, and I can put screw eyes into that. And so she can bungee things horizontally and vertically. So a little bit more work to get the shelf attached to those brackets, and that part of it will be done. Then we'll do some painting, and then we'll look at the other side.
I think you look cute, girl. What you think, cat? Yeah, you like it? You're a good girl. I love you, bestie. Zaza's knocked out over there. You probably can't see her. So today was a long day. I'm just organizing all the baskets that I had in here. Vehicle had more weight on one side, so I'm moving stuff around to even it out. And then I'm taking it to bed early tonight. I'm just exhausted. So I'll see you next video.